Ladies and gentlemen, this is the best news. This is the absolute best news you've heard all day. Now, you have to enjoy and savor this latest news spin. Politico, House Counsel suggests Trump could be impeached again. The comment came in a filing with federal court that argues Democrats still need testimony from former White House counsel Don McGahn. They're going to impeach him again. It's going to be fantastic. Oh my God. They haven't even given the articles of impeachment to Mitch McConnell. So this is Politico. CNBC, House Judiciary Committee says it could draft new articles of impeachment against Trump. They're going to impeach him again. Oh my God. They haven't even proven a case. They haven't even accused him of a specific, they haven't accused him of a specific criminal act linked to a statute that they could prove in court or in the Senate. They have not proven that he was worried about the No Malarkey bus tour, and that's why he tried to interfere in the next election with an investigation of Biden and his very accomplished and responsible offspring. They're pure as the driven snow. Just ask the people who sold the narcotics to smoke in the Gentleman's Club. Anyway, Mitch McConnell is livid. Could you imagine? He hasn't even received the articles of impeachment. They want CNBC, House Judiciary says it could draft new articles of impeachment against the president. Politico, House Counsel suggests Trump could be impeached again. Why not?
Nancy, it's come to my attention that you want to impeach President Trump again. Have you heard of Throwback Thursdays? Why don't you just try Impeachment Fridays? You can impeach him every Friday of every month of every year. If we don't get the articles of impeachment, he's not impeached. I mean, really, have you seen that Bill Murray movie, Groundhog's Day? I want you to hold my hand. I got you to understand. I got you, babe. No, Nancy, that's a song from the movie by Sonny and Cher. I'm not trying to serenade you. The mere thought of me serenading you has caused me to be queasy, to borrow a term from James Cramer. I don't think I'll be eating now for the next 3 weeks. But no, honestly, Nancy, why don't you just impeach him again? And what you can do is send me your demands for a fair Senate trial, because we aim to please. You've been very accommodating to us. Let's see. You impeached the president. You haven't sent the articles of impeachment yet. And you sent me a letter saying you want a fair trial. And to make a fair trial, you wanted me to sign an oath of blood and swear allegiance to Satan. I have no idea why you would ask me to do that. But I see the DNC Christmas meetings have been spruced up a little. And then you had a very bizarre request. You wanted me to swear that oath of allegiance to the Prince of Darkness and then get a pentagram tattooed on my forehead. Well, I see that you've toned down your absurd demands. Still not going to do it. It's really bizarre. Anyway, Nancy, you want to impeach him again? You haven't. Why don't you just impeach him once and give me the articles of impeachment? This way we can acquit him. Or you can, why don't we just do this? We can elect him every month, impeach him, and acquit him in the Senate. This way you can get your thrills. To each his own. I don't know what kind of sick pleasure you get from this. Mitch McConnell out. Oh, and by the way, we're acquitting Trump. whenever it is we get the articles of impeachment, either before or after the Messiah comes. Merry Christmas, Nancy. I know you don't want to hear that, but I wish you and yours a Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. I want you to play that over again. You can put that on your ringtone. Put it on your ringtone, Democrats.
Anyway, House Counsel suggests Trump could be impeached again. That's bizarre. Why would you? The House is open to the prospect of impeaching President Donald Trump a second time. Why not a third time and fourth time? Why stop there? The Judiciary Committee said Monday. House Counsel Douglas Letter said in a filing in a federal court that a second impeachment could be necessary if the House uncovers new evidence. Gee, everything is viewed as evidence. Anyone's opinion, the mere mention of John Bolton, new evidence that Trump attempted to obstruct investigations of his conduct. Yeah, because it's not obstruction of an investigation or justice if the initial investigation should never have been waged. So that's not really obstruction. So they did, for example, they said, oh, he tried to obstruct justice with the Mueller probe. Well, that's not obstruction of justice. The Mueller probe should never have been started. We know that from the IG report now. And notice they didn't put either the Mueller, they didn't put either, they didn't put anything to do with the Mueller probe in the articles of impeachment. They were basically just bluffing the whole time. The whole thing was a 3-year-long investigation that produced nothing of substance that could be incorporated in impeaching President Trump. The IG report basically said that 17 deliberate, not mistakes, falsifications, inaccuracies that were omissions of truth, falsified statements. Basically they were after him, and they were pretty sloppy about it. And John Durham basically also stated, based on the evidence, it's in the New York Times even, John Durham, I mean, he's really, my goodness, John Durham, how could he have said based on the evidence that he acquired, because the IG couldn't find any institutional bias? Well, guess what? Durham has spoken to everybody from Italian intelligence officials to Joseph Mifsud to people in London. I think John Durham and William Barr know a little bit more. They also have time is on their side. Okay, time is on the side of the people in the government. When you are in government, time is on your side. That's why when Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, Clydesmith, Lisa Page, James Baker, all of these people went after Trump, time was on their side. They were in government. They had access to the levers of government to create and to just go ahead and to fabricate investigations that were never-ending, based on a dossier Clinton purchased. They could actually take a dossier that Clinton purchased through her law firm and say, this is potential raw intelligence. They were in government. Time was on their side. They controlled the clock. They had the run game, so to speak. If you're not in government, if you're no longer in government, the people investigating you now, time is on their side. So I don't foresee any major, look, there could be major indictments before election, but then Democrats will say, oh my God, we're trying to interfere. Meanwhile, they've interfered the past 3 years in Trump's presidency and tried to go ahead and interfere in the election, 2020 election, with Mueller, now with this impeachment. Notice how they don't mind impeaching Trump, because doing so, wouldn't that interfere in the election? They don't care about that at all. But John Durham, William Barr, time's on their side. They also think that the more they impeach the president, the worse it is for him. People will start laughing. Impeachment will become a meme, as opposed to this lofty, historic event. This is not Watergate. Watergate was before anything before social media had a much greater impact than political events of today. Social media has diluted the historical significance of most events, things, political events, even movies. I mean, I remember growing up in the 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s, you wanted to go to see a movie. It wasn't just a remake of a remake of a remake. You wanted to go see a movie. And if you didn't like the movie, or if you liked the movie, or you wouldn't then hear about it endlessly on the internet. Even when the internet, even the late 90s, early 2000s, before social media ruined life as we know it, it was a situation where you could enjoy society. You can enjoy living without the opinions or viewpoints of others, without the condemnation or judgment of people who essentially just exist to condemn and judge. So that goes for impeachment also. You know, when Watergate was a break-in, a criminal act, and a cover-up, and so I mean, you had this situation where, you were, if you were in the United States of America at that time, you were living at that time during Watergate. You remember Watergate. This was an issue where people really lost trust. Loss of trust. Now, you could say times were a little bit more innocent or whatever, but people had trust in government, and people cared about what the Washington Post wrote about. People cared about what the establishment thought to a great extent. And the average American and the establishment saw eye to eye that Nixon, covered up a criminal act. Fine. This is not the case. America is not united behind a phone call that could have interfered in the election. This is nonsense. The notion of interference in elections is a neuroses that Democrats have that they need to get rid of. Clinton is going to be nominee. All of this paves the way. You see President Obama again saying, oh, he likes Elizabeth Warren. He doesn't like Bernie Sanders. Just a couple weeks ago, he said he would intervene if Bernie Sanders got close. There's no way that Bernie's going to win. But see, I told you, the only thing, Clinton is going to be the only nominee. All of this was for Clinton. This charade, people have to, especially on the left, Democrats and liberals and progressives and everybody from anarchists to socialists to whatever, they have to believe that there's a chance Bernie Sanders or there's a chance that Andrew Yang or Tulsi Gabbard can win. Bernie Sanders supporters of 2020 are different from Bernie Sanders supporters of 2016. Very different. Bernie Sanders himself is very different. He could have won in 2016 because there was crossover appeal. There's zero crossover appeal now. Conservatives aren't even thinking of voting for Bernie Sanders. 2016, that was a different story. 2016, he was basically Tulsi Gabbard. Bernie Sanders of 2016, you should quote me on this if you're on the left, whatever. Bernie Sanders of 2016 is really Tulsi Gabbard of 2020. Or Tulsi Gabbard of 2020 is really Bernie of 2016. Okay? They're the same platform. What made the difference, though, is that you've had 3 years of Bernie Sanders and James Clapper and John Brennan and James Comey. So when Bernie Sanders and James Comey are both pushing intelligence operative nonsense, that's a big problem. A really big problem. That is basically a cloak around the Democratic Party's propaganda machine. You have the far left in Bernie, and you have the established, the epitome of the establishment in John Brennan, both saying that Russia interfered in the election by giving Clinton the popular vote, but hurting Madam Secretary in swing states because of Facebook ads that nobody saw, and the DNC emails, by the way, that showed Bernie Sanders was cheated. When was the last time you heard Bernie Sanders say, "Oh yeah, it was they cheated me"? Just want to let you know, everyone, that they cheated me, and they kept saying, Bernard, I want you to say 1,000,000 times over and over again, thank you, ma'am, may I have another? And I said that, and they still don't like me. When was the last time you heard Bernie admit that he was cheated? How about never? How about if Trump was cheated? What do you think would happen? And he was. Well, they tried to. They set him up and framed him. He fights back. Tulsi Gabbard fights back. Andrew Yang, they cheated him too. They didn't let him speak during the debates. He spoke out. People who speak out, the media, they try to silence. And you're seeing that. And then when you get a pundit who wants to run for Congress, and the media does to him what he did, utilizing the media against Trump, well, then there you go. Give me your thoughts below. They want to impeach Trump. I mean, it's like...
Nancy, don't you get bored of the same old tired, futile impeachment? I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again without an outcome. We still haven't gotten the articles of impeachment.
Give me your thoughts below. They're impeaching him again and again and again. Go ahead. What does it matter? Impeach him 30 times. Who cares? If anything, he'll do 30 he'll do 30 rallies and speeches in swing states, and then it'll be an even greater victory over Clinton, because it's going to be Clinton versus Trump again in 2020. Give me your thoughts below. This is hilarious, people.